Coolios. Okay, so this week's extension problems.
Let's see.
So I kind of looked at it beforehand, so it looks like we've just been doing what we've just finding zeros and just the multiple ways that we've been taught.
Oh, is it just finding zeros?
Pretty much.
So it should be a relatively quick one then.
Yeah, I mean, some of these are a little bit more harder equations. So that's a little tougher to figure out, but I'm sure we can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one. First one is x to the fourth minus 4x cubed plus 7x squared minus 16x equals negative 12. All right, and what you gotta do is you gotta add the 12 to the other side so you can set it all to 0. And then I guess the easiest way, the best way would be able to do the zero theorem, right?
Yeah, that would be the fastest.
Okay, so then you get 3 possible zeros are 1 and 12 plus or minus, 2 and 6 plus or minus, and 3 and 4 plus or minus. So now you just have to check all of them or one of them. Okay, so I got positive 1 as one answer. Would it be easier if we split up the zeros split up the possible factors to each person? So I'll check negative 1, and if somebody wants to do 2, 3, and 4, and so on.
I'll do 2 and 3.
Okay.
Positive 2 won't work.
Oh.
Okay, so negative 1 doesn't work. And you said positive 2 doesn't work?
No.
Okay.
3 works.
3 works?
3 works.
Okay. I'll start with the negative 6 then. Negative 6 doesn't work either. Okay, 12's not gonna work. There's -12. Has anybody checked the 4s yet?
Neither of those worked.
I don't care. Let me see here. So far we only have 1 and 3. Let me double check these ones. 6 still doesn't work. It is -6. Yeah, I don't think I'm hearing anything from you, Monique.
No.
Nope.
The last answer is ±2i.
Let's try
So I think it's. So I don't know if anyone's done the homework, but like there's the way that like you start out with the theorem, and after the first static division, you just use the results for the next one, which I got 3 for the first one and 1, and then it just factors down to the ±I square root 2.
Oh, hold on, Monique's showing something. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have.
okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. I got it.
Okay. So that one. Yep, so it's 3, 1, and ±2i. Nice. Okay. All right, and so the next one, so x to the fifth power plus 3x cubed plus 2x equals 0. So for this one, you can automatically plug x, which brings it down to x to the fourth plus 3x squared plus 2 equals 0. And then since there's already an x outside of everything, that's going to be one of our zeros already. So 0 is one of them. And then just do the same thing again, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So then you do it for the inside. So your possible zeros are going to be plus or minus 2 and plus or minus 1. Okay. So I'll check 1 and negative 1.
What did you guys get when you split up the x to the fourth and all that first bit?
So it's x parentheses x to the fourth plus 3x squared plus 2.
Yeah, but what did you break that down to?
So there's a little trick. I don't know if y'all look at the homework.
Because I got
'Cause it
x
talks
squared.
about-
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, I had just gotten x squared plus 2 and x squared plus 1. But I wanted to make sure that was right or not.
Yeah, that's right. I did it a little bit differently. I just substituted another variable for x squared.
Oh, either you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean you substituted it?
And the homework talks about using like a u method. So you just plug in a u or some other variable to simplify the equation. So it went from being x to the fourth to being u squared, and then 3x squared to 3u plus 2. You can just factor that and then reverse it to get your zeros. But the way Antonio did it should have worked too. Sounds like it did.
Using a u on. Let me see here. You had it. That's how you did that?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll show up here. Let me see if I can get that. Can y'all see that?
Yeah. Can you move it up just a little bit? Up the other way?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. A little bit more. Okay. So you got you. Oh, wait. 1 second. Sorry.
So it ended up being. Did you see it, or can I just?
So did you just cut the whole problem in half? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, but so then you do that and you factor it out, and then you plug in the x squared at the end of it, and just simplify that.
Oh, okay. I think I got you. So what you're saying is so when you simplified it, you got u squared plus 3u plus 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you factor, and go from there.
Okay, so then you got u plus 2 and then u plus 1. And then you just substituted the x squared.
Exactly.
So you get x squared plus 2 and x squared plus 1.
Right.
And you have to find the zeros. Oh, okay.
Which end up being imaginary. So
Yeah, so it was, is it I square root of 2 or 1?
yeah, well, yeah, 0 plus or minus I square root 2, and then plus or minus I.
Oh, because you subtracted the 1, and then the square root of negative 1 is I.
Right.
Okay. And then, so this is there's 5 zeros, so we found 0 plus or minus I plus or minus I squared root of 2. Okay.
Does everyone follow that?
Yeah.
So how do you know when you can use that U trick? Can you use it all the time or no?
I think it's mostly just convenience.
Okay.
Because
It's usually
you're
when
gonna
you
have to.
like, huh?
Yeah, it's usually when it's like real complicated. It's like just use it, but until you get it factored out, and then you plug it back in and just solve for the original variable.
I gotcha. I guess it's kind of confusing on this whole thing is like there's so many different ways you can do it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Cool. So the next one, so square root of 2x plus 1 minus square root of x equals 1. So if you bring the 1 over, so you get square root of 2x plus 1 minus square root of x minus 1 equals 0. And then you could simplify this whole thing if you square everything. So you get rid of the square roots.
Mm-hmm.
You square all that, square that. So you're left with 2x plus 1 minus x plus 1 equals 0. And then you just add everything together or simplify everything. So you get x plus 2 equals 0. So you get x equals negative 2. Is that right?
No,
Bitch! Dang it. Okay.
but that's the way I would have done it too. So I don't know.
Huh. Oh yeah, that's not even an answer. Oh shoot. Um, well, if you squared it, it would get rid of the square root because they cancel out each other. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, I guess well, maybe I didn't do it right, but what I was seeing is I think I squared the 1 wrong. I automatically changed it to positive 1, if that makes sense. So instead of 2x plus 1 minus x plus 1, it should have stayed as minus 1. And so if it kept it like that, if it was minus 1, then it would end up being x equals 0.
Okay, that's one of the answers.
Did you follow that though? Like, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess in my perspective, I just took an extra step, or I did the 1 squared wrong. So x gives us, yeah, so that gives us at 0. So then now How do they get the other one then? Well, if you find 1, 0, you can't plug it in.
Okay. I think I got both of them, right?
Okay.
So you add, what I did was I added x, a square root of x to both sides.
Mhm.
And then I squared it and then simplified. And then you get into, and then when you simplify it all out, you get x squared minus 4x equals 0. And then I plugged 4 and 0 into the quadratic, and that I got 4 and 0. So if you follow me there, it's hard to follow because I kind of skipped all the simplification. If you want me to go through that, I can.
So you added the square root of x to both sides, so then you were
And
left.
then so I had square root of 2x plus 1, and then 1 plus square root of x, and then I squared both sides.
Okay, so you squared everything.
Yeah.
2x plus 1 equals 1 plus x. Then you just simplified it out.
So what I got after I squared both sides was 2x plus 1 equals 1 plus 2 square root of x plus x. And you subtract 1 plus x from both sides, and then you get x equals square root of, or 2 square root of x. And then I squared both sides again. And then I got x squared equals 4x. And then I added 4x, or subtracted 4x, and then I got, wait. Yeah.
So when you squared both sides of the first time, did you square the whole equation? So you squared 1 plus square root of x?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's where I went wrong then. Squared both. And then, so now on the other side, and then you factored it on the right side. Is that correct?
On the right side?
Yeah, so you factored 1 plus square root of x.
Yeah.
Okay. And that gives you 2x plus 1.
And then what did you get on the other side? I got
1 plus 2 square root of x plus x.
Yeah, that's what I got. And then once you simplify that down to x equals 2 square root of x, you square both sides. And then you could apply the exponent rule.
You subtracted 1, so then you get 2x equals 2x, 2 square root of x plus x.
Wait, what? Sorry. It's just
So I factored it out. So I factored out 1 plus square root of x. So I got 1 plus 2 square root of x plus x.
1 plus 2 square root of x plus x. Yeah.
Okay. And then you subtracted 1 from both sides, correct?
1 plus x from both sides.
That's where I'm stuck right there.
So when you subtract, you sub
Did anybody else follow where he was going?
no, okay. Oh my gosh, I wish my camera was working.
It's okay, Monique. Like, I understand how we got one of them. I'm just trying to understand how he got them. And I mean, I guess it makes sense for you because you did.
Sorry, I'm not very good at explaining math. I just kind of like, see, where are you at? What do you have?
So the part that I'm at, so I have 2x plus 1 equals 1 plus 2 square root of x plus x.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that step, you said you minus 1 plus x.
Okay. So what I did, so I just I distributed on the right side. So I got 1 squared plus 2. My bad, I completely skipped all this. I just kind of went on to the next part. 1 squared plus 2 times 1 times square root of x plus square root of x squared. And then I simplified. You get 1 plus 1 times 2 square root of x plus square root of x squared. And then you multiply down and you get 2 square root of x. And then you simplify the x, square root of x squared. And then when you simplify that, what you do is you get square root of x squared is x to the half to the power of 2. And then I use the exponent rule to break it down to 1/2 times 2. So and so I just made it 1, so it's just x. And then you end up with 1 plus 2 square root of x plus x. And then you subtract 1 plus x for both of that, both sides. So you have 2 plus 2x plus 1 equals 1 plus 2 square root of x plus x, right? And then you subtract 1 plus x, and you get 2 square root of x. X equals 2 square root of x.
Okay. Yeah,
Do you follow me there?
Yeah, so you said x equals 2 square root of x.
And then you square both sides.
Okay.
And then you get, once you square both sides and simplify, it's x squared equals 4x. And then you subtract 4. And so it's x squared minus 4, or minus 4x. You subtract 4x. And then it's x squared minus 4x equals 0. And then negative, and then you get 4 and 0 from that.
Oh, okay.
And then just to explain after that, just to verify it after, I just plugged it into quadratic equation.
Yeah, okay, now I'm following you. That makes total sense now.
Sorry if that was a little confusing.
No, you're good. I was just like I was following the right steps. I just wasn't writing it out on my paper. Like I couldn't like think about what you were trying to say, but now I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you end up getting I guess the first way I did it, you didn't even need to. This way you did it, you found both zeros in the same problem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes so much more sense then. So mine was not even didn't even need to be done. So okay. Did everybody else catch that kind of?
Maybe you could explain it better or show them.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we started out with we added the square root of x to both sides. So you get square root of 2x plus 1 equals 1 plus the square root of x, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then we squared both of those sides. So 1 plus the square root of x is going to be one function. So think of that all in one parentheses. So he squared the whole thing. So then what you get down to is 2x plus 1, because it cancels out the square root, equals parentheses 1 plus the square root of x squared. And then after that, you're going to factor that out. So then you get 2x plus 1 equals 1 plus 2 square root of x plus x.
What was the other half?
It was 1 plus 2 square root of x plus x. That's what it comes out to when you factor out the 1 plus square root of x squared.
Okay.
And then, so now you're simplifying. So you subtract 1 from both sides, so the 1's cancel out. And then you subtract an x. So then you're left with x equals 2 square root of x. And then what he did, which is a part that I just found out, so he squared both sides to get rid of the square root. So you get x squared equals 4x, because you have to square the 2 and the square root of x. So you get 4x. And then subtract the 4x to the other side, set it all to 0, take out the x, and then you're left with x minus 4, x, parentheses, x minus 4 equals 0. And then your zeros for that you see are 0 and 4.
Cool.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Oof. Yeah, that first part, I don't even know what I was doing. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, Matthew's way was a lot easier. Or I guess that was the correct way. So that was good. Alrighty, so the next one, so it's x minus 2 to negative 5 over 2 equals 32.
This one's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
Let's see.
I forgot. I don't remember how negative.
What you do is you to make it positive, you do 1 over x minus 2, and then now x minus 2 is to the positive 5 over 2 now.
Wait, so say that one more time. Sorry.
So so let's just imagine it's I'll just do this in variables. So like say x minus 2 is a, so it's a to the negative, we'll just say 1, or to the b, a to the negative b. You just do 1 over a to the b, and the exponent's positive. So you just put a 1 over it, and it's positive. You make it the denominator of a fraction, and then the exponent's positive.
Oh, okay, so it's 1 over
x minus 2 to the 5 over second.
Okay.
And then if you square both sides, if you square both sides, then you get x minus 1 over x minus 2 to the 5th. And then gosh.
Oh boy.
You solve that. So you do x minus 2 to the 5th. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Hold
Hold on.
Well, so I think this is one of those times where we should substitute x minus 2 for another variable.
Yeah. I feel like that would be a lot easier.
I'm already halfway into this. I'm gonna just try.
Yeah, I mean, if you're halfway into it, like, you can keep going. I mean, I like the U idea better.
That's
So
probably a better idea, but I'm gonna just try this way. And see what I get here.
Okay, so what you're saying, Brett, is that you have 1 over U to the 5th,
Right.
and then 32 squared is 1024. And then
Let that change. Okay.
would you multiply U to the 5th on both sides so that you get 1 equals 1024 U to the 5th?
Hold on. I saw this in the homework and I'm trying to find the example. But it's gotta find it first.
Do you know if it was lesson 1 or lesson 2?
Listen to problem 8.
Did you guys? So did Brett? Did you get like U to the negative 5th power equals 1024?
Yeah, that's where we're at right now.
And then what I did was I did the square root, but the negative 5 square root of 1024, and I got 1/4. So U would equal 1/4, and then I plugged in what we substituted for U, and it would have been x minus 2 equals 1/4, and then you just add the 2 over, and you would get x equals 2 1/4 or x equals 9/4.
Could you show us that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Sorry.
It's just like when you did the negative 5th of 1024, did you just use a calculator?
Yeah. See if you can see there. Right there. Not that part. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Oh, okay.
Looks good.
Yeah, no, I'm probably gonna give up on my way. currently I have this is what I'm at. I'm at 1024 to x to the fifth minus 10,240 x to the fourth plus 40,960 x to the third minus 81,920 x minus 32,769 equals 0.
You got pretty far.
Keep going.
I mean, it's nice. I mean, I can try and keep going.
Wait, so what did you say you ended up being when you -5?
When you did the negative square root of 1024, you get 1/4. So it would be, huh?
You did negative square root, -5 square root?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, is the -5 square root of 1024. And so then it would be u equals 1/4.
Because squaring it doesn't get rid of the -5. So that's going to stay with your u.
Squaring it?
Yeah, like because you're going to square the whole equation, the original thing to begin with.
Yeah,
That
well, you square root. You square root the -5. You get the square root of -5 on both sides, and so you get rid of it on the u side, and then you're using it on the 1024. So they would just be u equals 1/4.
Okay.
You know how to input that in your calculator?
If you're using your cell phone, you got to turn it sideways. At least on the iPhone.
Okay. So you put the -5 in the box.
Right.
Okay.
It was on the second one, Monique. Was it on the first too? Oh yeah.
So we're good on that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? Did you finish the problem?
Yeah, he did it through his calculator.
I'm gonna just try and finish this real quick. Is it? Let's is it x equals -9/4? Right?
Positive.
Dang it. Oh my gosh. That was absurd. There's so many stupid numbers in that stupid thing.
I mean, it's just that negative.
Well, no, it's just, I mean, the whole equation. You had to use the binomial theorem, and then you had to, half of the equation was an undefined singularity.
Mm.
So that means that you just had to get rid of it. That wasn't a fun. That wasn't fun. If I didn't have a calculator, I would have not wanted to do that. Okay, so what's the next one?
All right, so the next one is x squared minus x squared. Or, okay, sorry, parentheses x squared minus x parentheses squared minus 18 parentheses x squared minus x equals -72. Okay, so I believe for this one you can use the u as well again, right?
I would.
Yeah, so we just use x squared minus x for u. So simplify down to u squared minus 18 parentheses u equals -72. And then, so for this one, so you could do u squared minus 18u plus 72 equals 0. And then could you just use the zero theorem for this one at first or no?
12 and 6 will do it.
Oh,
12 and 6 will factor out.
oh,
Took me a little while, but I found it.
So u minus 6 and u minus 12 equals 0?
Yep.
Okay, and then did you substitute the x squared minus x back in?
Not yet.
Okay. So 6 and 12 are 1, or 2 of them. Or I guess they're not 6 and 12 yet because you still have to plug the u back in, right?
Exactly. So now I just gotta do that math.
So for the second, so when you plug them back in,
You can factor that back down to, well,
so the second one you can break down into x minus 4 and x plus 3.
okay.
And then the second one, x minus, no, x, can you simplify the first one down or no? Oh, wait.
-3 and +2.
Yeah, x minus 3 and x plus 2. So it's 3 -2, 4, and -3, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so check here. So 3, -2, 4, and she has a +3 again, which I don't believe that's correct.
I don't understand the 3M2 that she has on there.
Yeah, the 3M2.
Morning, Scott.
Either. I think that's got to be a typo or something.
That's what we have, Monique. Showing a 3M2, but I have no idea. It could just be a typo.
Oh, okay. Oh, Monique's right. It's a
Oh.
multiplicity. 3 is a so she's saying, so it's 3 is a 0 twice. But
That makes
so then how does it?
sense. Yeah.
Other 3 is 0 though. Is what I don't.
Oh, because they're both negative. Well, wait.
Because we have a 3 and a -3, right?
Yeah, I think that's. It'd have to be that way.
So, yeah, because we got the first 3 right, but I just have a -3 on the end of mine, as the other 0. So 3, -2, 4, and -3. Those are the zeros that I have. Is that correct, or is she wrong, or are we wrong?
I don't know. I think she meant to have a -3 in there because I'm not seeing how we would have done that differently.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Is I don't see how it would work any other way. So Monique, you're saying it's a -3, correct? Or no? Yeah. So you're agreeing with us. Yeah. So I feel like we're correct on this one. I mean, if we want to really, we can, if somebody or whoever's submitting a thing, if you want to send a picture to her.
Yeah, I'll send my work. I was following on. I'll send a picture of my work and just tell her, like, ask her, to explain it or check it or something. See if we're right or wrong.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Okay, so next one.
Cool.
Absolute value of x squared minus 6. Absolute value equals 5x. So
I didn't get that far in the homework.
So this one, you subtract 5x to the other side, so then you're left with the absolute value of x squared minus 5x minus 6. Absolute value equals 0. And then your zeros and then if you bring that down, it's x minus 6 and x plus 1. Then you get 6 and -1 is your zeros. But if it's all in the absolute value, then they're going to end up being 6 and 1, right?
Yeah. I did it in a bit more complicated way. Now that you explain it that way, that would have been way easier.
I just did it. I mean, I just did it common sense wise. So,
I put it into a range and then evaluated the range, but that was probably what you did was way easier.
I mean, I'm not sure if my way's correct, but I'm just looking at the answer, and that's what it comes out to is 6 and 1.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, instead of 6 and -1. So
Well, we got the right answer. That's, to me, that's good enough.
Yeah, I know, right?
all right, so this next one. So x to the 4th minus 14x squared equals -45. So if you bring the 45 back to the other side, so you get x to the 4th minus 14x squared plus 45 equals 0. All right, and this one.
I'm just gonna plug it into the quadratic equation. That seems pretty easy.
Can you
Pretty
use the
simple.
quadratic on this one?
Yeah, if you have x squared minus 14x plus 45. So it'd be,
Where did you get the x squared from?
Well, if you substitute,
it-
it'll break down to that.
yeah.
Substitute for an x squared, and then might as well.
Oh, so you're saying you dropped everything down into a u again.
Yeah.
Oh,
My bad. I don't know. Yes, sorry. I just said x. I wrote it as an x, but
no, you're good. So you got
Yeah.
u squared minus 14u plus 45.
45. Yeah, and then I just plug it into quadratic. Let's see what we get there.
Or you could use u equals -5, or u equals 5 and u equals 9.
Yeah. U minus 9, and then u minus 5, and then you plug back in x squared.
Yep.
So x squared minus 9, x squared minus 5, so then you get x equals plus or minus 3.
X squared minus equals 9.
X equals plus or minus the square root of 5.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, wait. So I got minus 3 and minus the square root of 5. Right?
Both of them?
What?
Or you did the quadratic, right?
Oh, no. It's plus or minus. My bad. It's x equals plus or minus 3 and the square root of 5. Yeah, I did the quadratic and I got the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what
Cool.
we got.
Get the quadratic and then you do x squared equals 9 and then x squared equals 5. Yep. Okay. Sweet.
And then the last one. Find a polynomial with the real coefficients that has the zeros of 2 and 1 plus I. You could use the concept of conjugate pairs from the resources. So this one I was doing in the homework, but I kept messing up when it comes to the I part. So write a polynomial with the 2 and 1 minus I. So the first one's gonna be x minus 2. And then the next one, so it's going to be x minus 1 minus I. And then the rule says if one of those is 1 minus I, then the other one is going to be 1 plus I, if I'm correct.
I didn't read into it, so I can't really follow you on this one. That was my bad. I'm just gonna have to listen.
No, you're good. Did you get through the homework, Brett, at all, or Antonio?
I didn't get that far.
Yeah, I've only done a bit of the homework.
I got it all done, but I can't remember this one. I gotta look back. Hold on.
Yeah. So I took a peek at the answer real quick. So yeah, that's how it works. So when it says find a polynomial and you have the zeros 2 and 1 minus I, so you're gonna write the x minus 2 as 1, and then you're gonna have an x minus parentheses 1 minus I parentheses, and then you're gonna have another 0 because it's the concept of the conjugate pair. So you're gonna have an x minus 1 plus I parentheses.
All right.
And then the way that they explained it is you rearrange the parentheses. So you have parentheses around the x minus 1s. So you get parenthesis, parenthesis, x minus 1, parenthesis, minus I. And then you get parenthesis, parenthesis, x minus 1, parentheses, plus I.
You know, something I'm learning here and that I'll take to other math classes is how to not look at the board and be able to copy down equations and stuff. So you just be able to look down at your paper and then listen to what people are saying and write it down.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
pretty useful.
So then what it comes down to, you get x minus 2, and then you get x minus 1 squared in parentheses, minus I squared.
Let's see.
Is everybody following that, or did I?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah.
Brett, did you get that, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So then now you just have to, so you factor out the x minus 1 squared, so you get x squared minus 2x plus 1, and still keep the I squared. And then now you're going to factor out the x minus 2. You're going to factor it out to the x squared minus 2x plus 1. And you get x cubed minus 2x squared minus x minus 2x squared plus 4x minus 2 minus I squared. And just simplify everything together. So you get x squared or x cubed, and the negative 2x's or negative 2x squares go together. So you get negative 4x squared, and then you add these. So you get plus plus 3x. Is that correct?
Well, from what you said, that's what it is, but I don't think that's what it says on the answer key. No, that's not what it is.
Crap then. So I just want to do all that. Where did I go wrong?
Let's see.
Were you following my steps though? Was it?
Yeah. Hold on. So at the beginning, you started with x minus 2 in parentheses, and then you got x minus 1 minus, in parentheses, squared minus I squared, right?
Yes. So parentheses x minus 2, and then parentheses x minus 1 squared minus I squared.
Wouldn't it be 1 minus I squared? Instead of x minus 1, wouldn't it be 1 minus I?
No, because so the way the conjugate pairs work is so you have to move the parentheses in the very beginning so that you have x minus 1 in parentheses in both of those zeros so that you can automatically into that x minus 1 squared.
Oh, okay.
have the first part right. I just really getting that 6x wrong. And then -4. I'm missing a step. I just know it. And if anybody catches it, just let me know. There's examples like this on the homework as well.
I'm gonna go look at that.
See if I can find which one it was, because I know I did some of the homework. Yeah, so number 7 on lesson 1. Oh, wait a second. I think I know what I did wrong. So you know the part where we got to x minus 2 parentheses and then x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus I squared.
Yeah.
So I think you have to simplify the I squared, then minus I squared, before you can factor out the rest of it, because it's connected to the end of that. So what you have to do, so it's x minus 2, and then it's x squared minus 2x, and then negative I squared just ends up being 1. So it ends up being plus 2. And then now you factor out the whole thing. So you get x cubed minus 2x squared plus 2x minus 2x squared plus 4x minus yeah, so x cubed minus 4x squared plus 6x minus 4. That's where I went wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's connected to that last equation. So you have to simplify that before you can even distribute it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I gotta remember making note of that. Did everybody else catch that? Sorry, I went really fast on that.
No, I got it. I don't know.
You got it, Monique?
So
okay. Brett, you got it?
you've got x minus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 2.
Yes, because I simplified the minus I squared.
Okay. Gotcha.
Antonio, did you follow that as well?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Okay. I can try to explain it again if you need to, or if you're stuck somewhere.
I think I heard you say it, but I'm having a hard time figuring out where I
So,
I don't know, writing it.
So
'Cause-
did you get to the part of, so we have parentheses x minus 2, and then parentheses x squared minus 2x plus I parentheses minus I squared. Did
Wait.
you get to the part?
Oh, I didn't simplify that. That's probably why.
Yeah, so what I realized is you have to simplify the negative I squared before you can distribute both of the equations.
So would that just be 1 or would that be
Yeah, so it ends up being plus 1.
+1?
So it changes it to x squared minus 2x plus 2. And then you
Okay.
multiply that by the x minus 2.
Okay, that's what I didn't. Okay, now I get it.
Cool. Sweet.
That's it.
Yeah. Oof.
Yep.
Oh, man, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I guess the only thing that's like messing me up is just like you have to like for sure you have to decide which method you're going to use.
I mean, you could use multiple methods, but it's just which method is the easiest. Just trying to figure out that.
Yeah.
So, yep, that was good. Any questions or anybody have anything else?
No.
No.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So we have to meet. We have a group quiz this week, right?
Yeah.
Do we
I
have?
think. Do we? Hold on.
I think we do, but do we also have another meeting?
Yeah, we have another. Yeah, we have another meeting.
And then, is that the one
Didn't-
where, I forgot her name, is going to join us, or which one is she coming to?
Wait. Who's joining? I'm sorry. It's probably because I didn't put my email on the thing. Someone's joining us for the next meeting?
We have a meeting. We also have a meeting, and the TA is coming tomorrow. We should make sure we're on time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're meeting. So we're meeting tomorrow again as well. Is that what you're saying, Monique? Okay, so we're meeting again tomorrow to do the group quiz and the extension problem. Okay.
Oh, we have homework that's not on my math lab this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have worksheet. I don't know. Did she say we have to scan those in? Is that how that works?
It doesn't say, but there's a quiz on it at the end. It has the answers just to make sure you're doing it right. But I think it'll tell you in the quiz.
I think you're supposed to take it, and then you're supposed to check the key, and then you're supposed to turn in the self-report. Yeah. I think it's based off of honor.
Oh.
You're just supposed to do the worksheet, and it's based off of honor.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Monique, you started it, right? Can you just post it so I can turn it in right after this?
Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow at 8 again.
8. Do we want to get around at 7? Actually, I have class till 8, so I'll be a little later.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's Thursday, huh? I have an intramurals game at 9, I believe.
So
we can do it. Like if we can get a lot of it done before.
yeah,
Then,
try and do it before, and then we'll look. Because try and do either the group quiz before or the problems before, because we got to do both.
Yeah. Is there any way? I mean, is anybody objected to starting a little bit early, or did you say you couldn't?
I have my religion class from 6 to 8. It's the only time. Like I normally just dip out like 5-10 minutes early
Okay.
to get here at 8. So.
Okay, so we'll stick with 8 then.
Yeah. I mean, I'll message you guys if my religion teacher is fine with me leaving 30 minutes early and seeing if there's anything wrong, if I'm gonna miss anything in that class for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, just message in the group chat, because if we can do it really, I think that'll be good, especially since we have a quiz and.
Yeah. So and then just try and do some beforehand as well.
Monique is saying she comes from straight from the one class. I don't know what that class is.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a good idea. So Monique was saying the same thing, is that if we do the problems before, then we can just walk through them quickly when we meet up. And then
Okay.
yeah,
So
so let's
just-
all plan on that. Just try to do as much as you can. And then we'll obviously be able to help all each other out, and then we'll get the group quiz done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Alrighty, sounds good. Good
Sounds
job.
good.
Guys.
Two.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
And then Monique, you're gonna post it right after, right? Okay, sweet.
Cool.